Hi there. Today we are going to talk about Microsoft Whiteboard, and it's a program that basically allows you to have a digital interactive space, and it's great for brainstorming and collaborating. You can share this virtual canvas with others, which makes it really, really great. Today we're going to be showing you how you can use this great tool in a literacy classroom. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you how you can get Microsoft Whiteboard. So right now you can see I'm in office.com. And if I search Whiteboard at the top, you can see it will come up as apps. So I'm just going to click on that. And what it will load, as you can see, is all of the whiteboards that you've already created. If it's the first time you've been in there, you will just see this blue square. So I'm going to show you one that I've already set up and show you some things you can do with it. But first I want to talk about the two different versions of Whiteboard that you have access to. The first one is the online version of Whiteboard, and that's what you're seeing on my screen right now. I can tell I'm in the online version because it has a web link right here. But I would highly, highly recommend that you use the full version of Microsoft Whiteboard, the desktop app, because it has way more features that you will find really, really handy. In order to get to that, what you can do is just click this Open in the App button. When I click this button, what it's going to ask me to do is to either download it or to open it. And I already have this on my computer, so I'm just going to click open. But if you need to put it on your computer, go ahead and click the Get the Windows app button. When I click on that, what it sends me to is the full version of Microsoft Whiteboard. And it does connect with that online version. So you can see here that I'm actually in this full version right now. And I want to explain just a few things of what you can do in here. So basically, it's an infinite canvas. And along the bottom right here, if I were to use the iPad app, which is really, really great with Microsoft Whiteboard, I can, use my finger or the Apple Pencil to write on it. So that's what that first one is. I can add text easily by clicking on the A down at the bottom. So, if I want to put some text in, it's easy to move around. The Post-it notes are the next one. And what I love about the Post-it notes is you can actually change the color of them, but I can type text in here. So you get the idea. You can also add images, but I find the gold in this is this little plus button right here. So when you click that plus button, it gives you access to all sorts of things that you can add to your whiteboard. So one of my favorite ones is the note grid. So if you click on that note grid, you can see that it gives me a set of Post-it notes that I could, write on, arrange. It's great for categorizing, but I can even change the text of Note Grid to say what I want it to be. So I don't have to say Note Grid. I can maybe say, favorite books. You can move it around. If you found, oh, I don't want that anymore, you can delete it easily. It's just really, really flexible tool. You also can put follow-up lists. Now you'll see that I have one in here already. What do you do? And I have a list right here, and then students could actually come in and type on that list. You can also insert Word documents or PowerPoint documents in there. So, it's just a really, really, really flexible tool. One thing I will tell you about how to navigate it. It got me hung up a little bit, but what you have to do is use 2 fingers on your trackpad to zoom in and out. So I'm just scrolling 2 fingers on my trackpad, and that allows me to zoom in or zoom out. I got hung up on that a little bit, so I just wanted to point that out. If you're having trouble seeing something, just 2 fingers on your trackpad will help. Now, the beauty of this is that you can collaborate with others. So I can go into this little people button right here, and I am going to invite my good friend Jill to collaborate with me on this one. So I'm just going to type in Jill's name. And the server's a little, oh, there she is. So I can click on Jill's name. And what's neat about this is I can actually, it says can edit here, which is what I would want in this situation. But there may be another board that you just think, I want people just to view it. And so if that's the case, you can actually click on the can edit, and you can make that board a read-only if you wanted to, just depending on what you wanted to use it for. Another thing that is really, really neat about this is your ability to take this whiteboard and take the link and share it somewhere else so that other people can collaborate on it. So teachers are using this, they're taking this link, and I'll show you how to get it. So if I click right here, it's hidden a little bit. So just take note of the 3 dots when you click on that invite area. And when I do that, it creates a sharing link. So if I copy that link right now, and it says it's copied, and I go into my classroom team site, I can actually go into a channel or a post, and I can take that copied link and paste it in there. And then all of my students that are a member of that team are able to work on that whiteboard with me. So that's just a really, really easy, flexible way to be able to create a collaborative whiteboard without having to type everybody's name in. So I'm going to turn it over to Jill, who's going to talk about some really, really great practical applications for Whiteboard.
Okay, so I'm going to share 5 quick ways that you can incorporate Whiteboard into the English Language Arts classroom. And I really see the beauty of Whiteboard as a virtual space that you would use in much the same way you would use chart paper and Post-its in your classroom. So if you look at the board that Wendy has up right now, it's a sample mini lesson. And this is a great way to create a space that you can work through a mini lesson, and Wendy's included the links and the order that it's going to happen, and she has a little to-do list. So it's almost like a virtual handout that students can access after the mini lesson to foster independence when they are practicing whatever skill or strategy you've shared. Another version of the mini lesson board would look something like this. And this one I've just created with 2 samples of text. So this is for a mini lesson we call Tell What It Isn't to Say What It Is. So I have the opening passage of Roxane Gay's book, Hunger, and then you can see that I put 2 Post-its where I might show my thinking, almost like a think aloud. And then below that, I've put a second text, which is a similar example, and then I can do that live with the students and capture some of their thinking before they move into doing that individually. And then again, they can go back and access those examples if they want to later. You can also use Whiteboard in the same way you would use an anchor chart. So as a debrief or synthesizing activity when the independent work time in your workshop is over, where you're asking students to share thinking or share responses to a piece of text. So this is using the note grid that Wendy showed you earlier. So in this case, students may have all read the same text or a variety of text on a theme, and then they can synthesize their thinking by sharing out the answer to the question, where does the writer reveal the assumptions they're making about their readers, and using quotes from the text. And then students can get back together and maybe summarize those examples or do something with that. But then again, it's a shared space the students can access later if they want to use it for whatever you're asking them to do next with that text. It also becomes a really easy place to capture collaborative thinking for students as well. So we have one with an image that we've placed in the center of the whiteboard. And you can see that we have 2 Post-its with 2 different colors. And I love the color feature of the Post-its to help students sort their thinking because they can easily change it. So in this case, we've asked students in a group. So you may have students, in a small group collaborating around this image and answering the question, what do you notice, using the yellow Post-it, and what do you wonder, using the blue. Alternatively, you can ask students to just capture their thinking in any color and then switch the color as they categorize. So take all of the main ideas and make them yellow, and take all of the supporting ideas and make them blue, or something like that. So I love that quick feature as well. And then the last example is using a shared graphic organizer. So in this case, students would be collaborating on a text. They've all read the same passage or the same article, and then you can ask them to use this graphic organizer to guide their thinking or their responses So we just made a quick 3-column chart. What does it say? How does it say it? And what doesn't it say? So then students can capture their thinking, and then you might ask them to summarize all of the examples in each column and share out and create a larger chart for the group. We also have a graffiti board that would be another example of a place where you might use an anchor chart or a place on your whiteboard in the classroom where students are sharing their thinking over time. So this is one that Wendy and I created, of favorite opening lines. I love the idea of having a class whiteboard where students can post one-sentence book reviews of books they want to recommend to their classmates. If students are working in a thematic unit, you might have a graffiti board where they post examples of readings they found on their own that matches that theme. If you're doing a genre study, you might start a board where students are posting links to examples of mentor texts they found on their own. So it's a great way to have students collaborate on thinking over time as well. So I think the whiteboard is a really versatile and flexible tool for the English language arts classroom that creates a virtual collaborative space really, really easily.